Hello friends, you're with the Lonesome Gamer, and this is my second video about Thunderbolt Apache Leader. Until now I've prepared the campaign and the first mission of the first day. The plane is ready here to start. But before I start, someone pointed out that I forgot an important battalion. It's this fuel depot here, and it says -1 loiter turn over all battalions. So I forgot that. I have to adjust the loiter counter here. Okay, and now I'm gonna attack the scout group with Gumby, a veteran pilot flying the Thunderbolt. So let's see, the first thing we have to do is we have to draw pop-up counters. The pop-up counters are these. And there can be enemies that then will pop up here on the battlefield. But you only have to draw a pop-up counter for every plane which is, or every aircraft which is in high altitude. So because Gumby is in low altitude, we don't have to draw that counter. Then we got the enemy cover roll. And there is actually a table here. Enemies going to cover, and you roll on that table, and then some of the counters might go into cover. So let's see. That's a 10. And that is good because it means any one hex emerges. So in this case, no one moves into cover, and because there is no one in cover at the beginning of a mission, there is also no one emerging. And then it says the fast pilots, they have to determine their altitude and then move and attack. He's a slow pilot. So this is also not the time when he will do this. And then it says the enemy's attack. But right now there is no enemy in range. That one has a range of 1, and they can only attack the adjacent spaces. The other ones have no range at all. They can only attack aircraft in the same space. And now finally it's slow altitude move attack. And now he can first determine his altitude. So he could now change to a high altitude, but he wouldn't do that. And then he can move and attack. And there are now 2 ways. You can attack first, and then you can move, and this is a 10, so that can move 1 or 2 spaces, hexes. So as I said, you can attack first and then move. You can also move, for example, 1 space or hex, then attack and then move on. And you can also move and then attack. So it's you're pretty free in doing it the way you want. Okay, I will move 1 space, and if you move with an aircraft that cannot hover into a new space, then you have to place the aircraft on the edge of that space, depending where you want it to go in the next movement step. If I would place him here on an edge that is adjacent of the edge of the whole map, then that would mean that he would leave the target area and that the mission is over for him. If I would place him on a ridge like that, then if he is in low altitude, he had to make an evade roll to evade that ridge, and that normally brings you sometimes a lot of stress. It can even bring you to a crash. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to place my plane here on that edge. I could place it, by the way, everywhere on every edge except from on the edge that I came from. So I can't place it like this now. Not like that, but everywhere else is no problem. So I place it here. And that was my first movement. And then I'm gonna attack. There are basically 3 ways of attacking. First, I can attack all targets that are not in cover in one different hex from the hex that I am. So this would be the case here. I could attack these 2 covers. They are in an adjacent hex, not in the same hex as I am. And this kind of attack is called standoff. And here I got a +3 modifier. To do this attack you need ranged weapons. And you can see the range of the weapons here. This is the white number in the black circle. They have a range of 1, for example. They have a range of 2, but they can't be fired at a target in the same hex as the plane is. That's why there is at the 0 a red circle. So that would be the first way to attack. The other way is I can also attack targets that are in the same space and the same hex as my plane is. That would be a strike. And I could attack all targets there, including the targets that are in cover. Remember, that's not possible if you're not in the same hex. Then you can't attack targets that are in cover. And the third thing is I could use my cannon and I could attack a single target, might be in cover or not, in the same hex of the airplane. Okay. So let's see. Now I'm going to do the standoff. I'm going to attack these 2 targets. And let me see. Got a +3. The tank has got a -2. And the V is vehicle. So I use this weapon here, and that number here on the upper right corner is the number that I need to hit. That's a 4 or higher for a hit. Because I got a -2, I need a 6 or higher, but then I got this standoff modifier +3, so a 3 would be fine. V and B means I can only shoot at vehicles or buildings. So I think the only unit I can't shoot at with this weapon is the infantry. Okay, so now let's try it. I'm attacking the tank, and with my second the second attack I'm doing is I'm gonna use this LAU-61 to attack the command. You have to determine with how many weapons and exactly which weapons you use to do the attacks, all of the attacks that you do during an attack phase before you start making the rolls for the attacks. So it's pretty much the same as in Phantom Leader. Okay, so let's start with the tank. As I said, I think I need a 3. Let's see. Well, that's a 5. That is definitely enough. 5 minus 2 would be a 3. But then I can add these 3 here. So it's a 6, and I only need a 4 to be successful. So now the tank is destroyed. I simply flip it. Now we got this cool burning tank or smoking tank. I prefer that to simply removing the markers, as you have to do this in the older games. This adds a little more atmosphere to the game, I think. And then I attack this command vehicle here, and there is no negative modifier, so I simply can roll for this now. And there is here a second number, this 7, and that means if I roll a 7 or higher, I can use this weapon again. As I read, I'm not very good in weapons, and so I don't know much about these. But I think this is kind of a rocket launcher or something like that. So there is a good chance that there are more rockets in this weapon. And if you're lucky, you can use it again. So to destroy it, I just need a 1 because of my standoff modifier. And to be able to use it again, I need a 4. And that's a 10. Very good. So I can use the weapon again, and the command unit is destroyed. And that was actually my first movement from here to there. And now I do my second movement. And well, let me think about that. I think there's a lot of time remaining, so I move here, stay in low altitude, and yeah, that was my turn then. And now the last thing during this battlefield resolution, I advance the loiter counter. So I simply move it one step closer to the end. Okay, so now it's we start again, the next turn, and again no pop-up counters. Now the enemy cover roll, that's a 9 this time, and it says 1 hex with the most active units. So in this case, active units means the units that are not destroyed, so it's this hex here. There are 2 and all the others are just 1. And now these 2 units move into cover. So you place them here on a ridge to indicate this. And now there is no standoff attack possible anymore. That means I have to be in the same hex as they are to attack them. And then there is this fast altitude, move attack, nothing, because I'm a slow pilot. And then it's the enemy attacks. And again, there are no attacks because, yeah, I'm out of range. And now I can move and attack. Okay. I now move twice. Once here, I stay in low altitude, and then here. And now I shoot at the command vehicle, and again, well, let me see. Yeah, I simply use one of these LAU 61 with a range of 1. So now I roll, and again it's a 10. Awesome, I still can keep the weapon, can use it again, and the command vehicle is destroyed now. If we now count the numbers here on the upper left, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are just 6 remaining. That means that the battalion is already, well, kind of weakened or damaged. So this special ability, which is very annoying for me, wouldn't apply anymore. And I already gain 1 victory point. So I could fly home. I think I did a good job. But there's still enough time, so maybe if I'm lucky I can destroy that one and there's not too much risk involved, until now at least. So now I have to move the loiter counter. And then I come to the next turn. And I simply now move, well, let me see. Well, I have to find a solution for that. The thing is, I have to find a way to fly all through these through the area, trying to evade the ridges, because that will give me a lot of stress. On the other hand, if I go to high altitude, which would be the easiest way to evade ridges, because then you don't have to roll for that, you simply fly over the ridge, then there might be other enemies coming up, and it could be much more risky then. There are sometimes anti-aircraft units or things like that. So, well, I have to find a solution here. Okay, I think I know how I do this. I now have to fly here, and I'm gonna go here, and then well, let me see. I simply move 1 step closer, and I attack the truck with my cannon now. And that's pretty easy. I got a 4 cannon value of 4 plus 1, so I would need a 3. But then the truck has a plus 2 modifier. So I don't have to roll. A 1 is good enough to destroy the truck here. Perfect. But, just a second, I forgot to do the enemy cover roll. that might be important. So that's a 5, and that is the enemies that have destroyed units in the hex, they go into cover, but this is not the case here because, yeah, I destroyed the hexes completely. So now I can do this, and I simply destroy this truck. I have to move this loiter counter again. And now there's an interesting rule. If I wanted to attack, for example, this one now, this truck over here, I can't do that because there is an attack angle. And you can see that here. So this truck would be, if I turn the camera around, it's a bit complicated actually, yeah, but I think this truck would be then in this space, or yeah, in this one, in the dark one, so I can't attack there. I could only attack here or here if there was a hex and so on, so I can't attack in these spaces here and also not in this one. So it's the next turn now. Again, no pop-up counters because I'm at low altitude. The enemy cover roll, that's a 2. And that says, well, all the enemies in the same hex with the aircraft. This is not the case here. And again, there are no enemy attacks. So until now it's really a simple mission actually, and I can now fly here yeah, and well, let me see. I also use my cannon to attack that APC. So now I got a +1. That's a 4. So I need a 3 because there is no modifier here. I need a 3 to hit. And that's a 4. So I was lucky here. So that thing is also destroyed. And well, the loiter counter is moved on. And now it's a little difficult. The problem is I already gained 3 stress because I'm far behind enemy lines. If I now try to evade that ridge here to get into this hex, the danger is very high that I get a lot more stress. So I think in this case now I risk to go to high altitude. But first I have to roll the enemy cover roll. That's a 7. So that says 1 random hex. So again I roll. And that's a 10, so that would be this one, but they're all destroyed already. And well, there are no enemies that can attack. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to high altitude, and that allows me simply to fly over the ridge. There is absolutely no danger for me now, and I now can use these 2 weapons here, the LAU-61 and the they're both LAU-61. I use 1 to attack the tank. Let me see. No, I won't do it. I will use both to attack the tank, because the risk to miss the tank with 1 is actually pretty high because of this modifier here. But yeah, exactly. So, and if I miss the tank and destroy that one, so the basic idea is, of course, to attack both vehicles, each with 1 weapon. But if I miss the tank and destroy that one, there would be 3 points remaining on the board, and I need to destroy everything but 2 points. So there is a little risk then. If I say, okay, forget the APC, I completely concentrate on the tank, I think I have a bigger chance to destroy the tank, and there is only 2 points left then. So I think I'm gonna do that. I have a strike. In this case it's a strike because they are in the same hex as I am. I can't do the standoff attack because they are in cover, so I have to do a strike. And I have a strike of +1, strike modifier, and so normally I would need a 4. +1 I would need a 3, and because it's a -2 modifier here with the tank, I would need a 5. So let's hope for the best. I got two rolls to roll a 5 or higher. Ah, that's a 2. Oh, come on. And the next one is... oh my god, it's a 1. I didn't make it. That is frustrating. Well, okay. I wasn't lucky here. That was really bad luck. But it was close. Okay, anyway. Now I decided to leave here. Remember, I can move 2 per turn, so I leave now the battlefield, so I don't have to be afraid of the pop-up counters of the next turn. That was really bad luck. It's a little frustrating. Anyway, the battalion is now weakened, so I can adjust. This is here the homebound phase now. I have to adjust the battalion strength counter. So it's battalion 2C, and now it's just half its strength. And this special ability doesn't apply anymore. Then I draw the homebound mission event. That really bothers me that I didn't make it. And this is supply priority. Gain 1 special option point if you destroyed the battalion. Oh! What kind of bad luck was that? Come on. I also lost the special option point here. And there is another rule here. Gain 1 special option point when you destroy each battalion. So actually I lost 2 special option points because of these 2 damn rules. Rolls. Oh, come on. And then, well, there is no crashed pilot. We now can record the pilot's stress. And because it's in the enemy rear, he would take a stress of 3. But he's got a coolness factor of 1, so he only takes a stress of 2. And I will write that down here. Okay, so now I only gained 1 victory point. Half the number of victory points rounded down. But I could destroy the battalion in future turns, and then I would gain the 2 remaining victory points. If I attack the battalion again, its strength is halved, meaning that I only place half the number of counters of every type on the battlefield. And because I didn't destroy the battalion, I also only gain 1 experience point. If I destroyed it, I would gain 2. Okay, so that was the homebound phase. And yeah, it's the end of the mission for this guy. Okay, I mean, after all, it wasn't too bad. He didn't take any damage. He didn't take too much stress, so he can easily fly the next day again. And we got rid of this special condition here that would the battalion bring if it would be at full strength. So I guess it's not too bad. Okay, I'm gonna load this up now, and in the next video we'll see how, let me see, how Daddy-O, Divert and Montana, how they tried to attack an artillery unit. Okay, hope to see you then. Bye.